The Last of Us 2 is a magnificent game and it does not deserve the hate that it is getting. Let's discuss. Hello there and welcome to my channel. I'm Mr. Cobblewobbles, this is Alfred, and we are here to talk about The Last of Us 2. There is a lot of controversy surrounding this game and I want to talk about it. Before we talk about it, I'd like to let you know that the comments below are open for discussion, so if you want to share what you think of The Last of Us 2 down in the comments below, that's perfectly okay. Do so. I'll be glad to read all the discussions below, but do watch some bits of the video before you actually, state your opinion about my opinion, because that might be handy. Also, we played The Last of Us on stream. If you want to see us streaming, twitch.tv/Mr. Cobblewobbles. We stream there every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central European Summer Time. So if you want to see that, you can go there and follow, and thank you. All right, The Last of Us 2, where do I begin? The Last of Us 2 is a game developed by Naughty Dog. It's a PlayStation exclusive and it has been review bombed ever since it released. There's a lot of hate surrounding the game, there's a lot of negativity surrounding the game, and I want to break all of that down and give my opinion on the matter and the way I see it. So this video is my personal opinion. I can't believe that I have to stress that enough on the internet. It's my personal opinion. You can comment on my opinion, but please, let's be respectful and civil in the comments. This game has been teared down with user reviews on Metacritic and other sites like it. There have been petitions of people that want Naughty Dog to remake the entire game and remake the story so that it's good. This is a spoiler warning though, so if you have not played the game, don't watch this video. If you still want to play the game, or if you just don't care about spoilers, then I guess you can just go ahead. But from here on out, there will be major spoilers for The Last of Us 2. So, without further ado, let's break everything down from start to finish. I've read a lot of the user reviews on Metacritic and other sites and all that, and 95% of those reviews are either people who never played past the point of Joel's death. Those people are just mad about Joel dying, and so it equals a bad game. They don't say anything else, and it's just Joel died, bad game. That's it. And they haven't played past that point, which makes their review already irrelevant, because a game like this, you can't review it by only playing the first 2 hours of the game. Then there's people that didn't play the game, but just read the leaks about the story and are mad about the story because they read the leaks. But the leaks only tell certain parts of the story and you miss the connection that binds it all together. So those reviews are also not valid because you haven't played the game. Then there's people who just blindly hate for no reason. Just people that want to hate on something just to trigger other people for no reason because it's fun to hate on something. And then of course we have the people who are just too bigoted and complain about the LGBTQIA+ representation in this game. And if that's you, this game is not for you. Get the fork out. It's 2020. And then there's 5% of those user reviews that are actual reviews, both positive and negative, that raise genuine points of appraisal and or critique. And those are people that I can tell that actually played the game, and those reviews are valid. Now, this video is mine opinion, and your opinion is also valid provided that you actually know what you talk about. If you have an opinion about this game, but you haven't actually played it, or you have just played it up until the point of Joel's death, there's things you're gonna miss about Joel's death and stuff, and other stuff in the story. So please, give the game a chance, at least. What do people hate? What are the specific things that people just destroy this game for? And why do I love what they hate? Because I'm sorry, I love The Last of Us 2. I think it's amazing, and it has next level storytelling. The main reason that people are just review bombing this game is Joel's death. Joel is a beloved character from the first game. You played as Joel in the first game, and we're attached to Joel. I'm attached to Joel. Joel however, is murdered in the first 2 hours of the game. The first 2 hours, 2 hours and a half of the game. He's murdered by Abby, a new character that is introduced in this game. I was angry at first, too. But the story that comes after provides context to what happened there. Joel killed Abby's father, and Abby wanted revenge, which makes sense. That's logical. Wouldn't you want revenge? Wouldn't you want justice for someone you loved that was murdered? Her father, by the way, was also the only man who could stop the infection that plagued this world for good. Would you not claim justice for that in a world like that? After those events, we also explore Abby's side of the story. We're exploring Abby's character, which was a really good choice story-wise, a really interesting and bold choice story-wise. But it pays off, because by the end of the game, you actually sympathize with Abby, and you know what she's been through, and you know her motivations, and why she did what she did. Both sides of the argument are explored. We see Ellie's story, who wants revenge for the death of Joel. Also, yes, I need a haircut. But we also see Abby's side of the story, why she killed Joel. We see her character, the humanity of her character. And we also see the humanity in Ellie, but we also see her lose that humanity a little bit. And I think that's something that people don't like. It's the fact that these characters that they previously liked are now being challenged in ways that makes you like them less. Because they do horrible things. But those horrible things are driven by the actions of other people as well. Actions have consequences, and that is what this game is about. And a lot of people, I feel like, are not seeing that. Joel lived his life, and throughout his life, he's made choices. And those choices, whether you like it or not, at the end of the game, at the end of the last game, his choice of saving Ellie and killing all the fireflies impacted everyone else's life. There is no cure now. The person that could make that cure is now dead. And that person was loved by someone dearly because he had a daughter, and that daughter was Abby. And so Joel suffered the consequences of his choice. He died for it, and I understand that. And in a way, Joel kind of deserved it. Another reason why people are absolutely destroying this game right now is because they think the story is bad and crap due to various reasons. The various reasons, we are going to explore them. The main reason that people seem to have is just, like, again, Joel's death. Like, Joel died and I can't handle that. That's basically it. Yes, Joel died, but that is not what makes the story bad, in your opinion. No, you just don't like what happened to Joel, but there's more to the story than that. That does not define the story, because his death is actually the start of the story. The story is about revenge, and what revenge makes people do when nothing is there to stop them, when there's no system in place to stop them. Then we come to the reasons where I feel like I can get into what people are saying. The revenge plot and its ending is a big reason of why people hate the story and think it's bad or crap, but I see it differently, I think. For a lot of people, they see a story where a character is killed just to start a revenge plot, and then, like, Ellie takes revenge, and Abby takes revenge, and Ellie takes revenge again, and Abby takes revenge, and then at the end, Abby doesn't die, and you're left with this unsatisfying ending. That's what a lot of people see, and for me, I see it entirely differently. This is a story about the circle of revenge. A circle that will not stop unless it's broken. And Abby saw that circle in that theater. Abby finally saw in that theater that if she would have killed Dina, that there would not come an end to that circle of violence. So she let Dina live. She let Ellie go. Because that was her moment of enlightenment. That was her moment that said, I need to break this circle, because if I don't do it, it'll never stop. And so she let Ellie go. Ellie, however, couldn't live with that fact that Abby was still out there, the killer of Joel, and went to search for her again. And on that beach, Ellie too realized that the circle of violence is vicious and it will never stop unless someone breaks it. And Ellie finally, in that moment, sees that Joel might have gotten what he deserved, because Joel killed her father. She understands now, and she lets Abby and Lev go because she understands that if she would have killed Abby, that Lev might have grown up and come after her again. And then the circle of violence would start all over again and incite more violence, which would incite more violence, which would ignite more violence. And she put a stop to that. And that, for me, is what makes this ending so freaking powerful. A different thing why people hate this game is also the fact that they have certain expectations of the story. Like, they have a certain expectation of the story, and this story didn't match their exact expectations. And that's the problem with hype nowadays. If you have a big hype for something, then it's hard to make it true. Especially for The Last of Us, the first game was so loved by so many people that all of those individuals had a different idea in their mind of what a sequel could be. Now, we could also blame the marketing on this, because the marketing showed us primarily Ellie and her connection with Joel. And so people began to expect stuff from The Last of Us 2. But what The Last of Us 2 actually did was defy expectations. Defy all expectations even, by going directly against those expectations. When Joel died that first 2 hours, I was shocked to my core. I was like, what just happened? What did they just do? But that made me want to play the game even more because that was a welcome change for me. There's a lot of sequels that play out the way that you know that they were gonna play out, and The Last of Us didn't do that. It defied that expectation directly. And I love the writing team of Naughty Dog for this choice. It makes for a more interesting sequel, in my opinion. Long story short, in like reasons for the story being bad and all that, we explore the humanity of both sides of the argument and what is left of their humanity and what the revenge makes them do and why people do these things. And it's an important nuance. Because, like, The Last of Us 2 brought nuance into the world of The Last of Us. It's not plain good or bad. People are not good or bad. People are a mix of the two. There's actions that are good, but there's actions that are bad, and you will bear the consequences of those actions. And that is what the story is about. It's not a simple revenge plot that doesn't end satisfyingly. It is more than that. It has a deeper meaning. And when you get that deeper meaning, you get an appreciation for this simple revenge plot. Or that is at least how I see it. Then there's a third thing why people hate the game. We had Joel's death, we had the story being bad and crap, and now of course we have the bigots, because there's a lot of LGBTQIA+ representation in the game. Ellie is gay. That was already confirmed in the DLC of the last game. Get over it. Dina is bisexual, and Lev is transsexual. These characters are gonna start showing up in games. I don't know what to tell you. And it is long overdue. LGBTQIA+ representation is so freaking important. However, it needs to be done right. And in the case of Ellie and Dina, I think they did a really good job. For Lev, on the other hand, they could have tackled that differently, and I will talk about that later in the part of this video where I describe what I didn't like about the game. But ladies and gentlemen, it's 2020. Open up your narrow-minded view of the world, because if the LGBTQIA+ representation in the game is a problem for you and makes you feel like it's a bad game, then this game is not for you, and I feel sorry for you, and you should adjust your worldview. In conclusion of like what people think about this game, about it being bad, in my opinion, it has masterful storytelling that goes next level and has a deeper meaning to it that people are not always seeing because they're blinded by the fact that Joel died and they liked Joel. Making us play as Joel's murderer, questioning Joel's choices of the last game was really interesting to me, and a really interesting concept that I haven't seen in a lot of games in a long time. We are even in questioning Ellie's morals and Ellie's motives throughout the game, which is super interesting to me because we all start on Ellie's side of the argument. Exploring the humanity of these characters is what the story is about, and understanding that circle of violence is what the story is about, and I loved it. Now, what did I dislike about the game? Is the game perfect? No. Not by a long shot. It is not perfect. There are some things that could have been done differently and would have improved the game significantly. But I still give it a 9.5 out of 10 because, yeah, I don't know. I just loved it. I really, really loved it for all the reasons that I have previously stated about why people disliked it. I gave my counter argument, and that's why I love this game. However, there's a few things that I would have liked to have differently. Killing dogs and forcing to kill everyone. The dogs offer a nice gameplay mechanic, don't get me wrong. I really like the mechanic that they can smell you and that you have to find a way around them. That's really clever. But a lot of the times, I was forced to kill the dogs. Newsflash, I'm not a god gamer, and 90% of gamers are not pro gamers or whatever. I did not succeed in getting through every area in full stealth mode without killing anyone. So the game eventually pressured me into killing dogs, and I did not appreciate that. Also, killing these characters feels wrong because every character you kill in the game has a name. And the simple fact that these characters have a name makes you feel guilty about the people that you are killing, which is a good thing, don't get me wrong. But I hope to see a new approach, like knocking out people. The simple ability of knocking out people and making your way through a level before they wake up would be super freaking awesome to play, because it gives a whole other dimension to how you get through a certain area. And that way you didn't have to kill everybody you met, which in a lot of scenarios the game pressured me into. Another thing that I didn't like was Lev's story arc. Don't get me wrong, it's really nice and refreshing to see trans representation in a video game, and I loved Lev's character. However, making him go through the trauma that they made him go through was a bad choice in my opinion. They could have explored transsexuality differently without it being triggering. His arc was pure shock value and nothing else. We already knew that that world was cruel. We didn't need those events to make that even more apparent. We already knew it. I would have liked them to handle that differently because a lot of members of the trans community have already spoken out that that was a bit too confronting for them to see it executed in such way. The last thing that I didn't like was that the last part of the game, like the last 2 hours, felt a bit stretched but rushed at the same time. Ellie looking for Abby in the epilogue felt a bit dragged out, but at the same time not fleshed out enough because there's this new group of people all of a sudden and we don't know anything about them, and after it's ended, we still don't. So I'm very conflicted there. Either they should have like fleshed it out more or cut to the point faster. All right, and I think that brings us to the conclusion. In conclusion, this game is getting way too much hate than it deserves because it's an amazing game. I absolutely love it, and I think I even like it more than the original game. It has also become very easy, maybe too easy, to hate on something on the internet because you are not directly confronted with the people that you're hurting or that you're being hateful towards. Especially like that petition to like change the game. Like, you know how many people spent 6 years of their lives working on that game and now you just want to undo that? It's very insensitive, and I feel like hate really thrives on the internet and I don't like it, and we could use some more positivity. This is not a bad game at all. Not even if you don't like it, you can't say that it is a bad game. You can have your opinion about it, don't get me wrong, and you can disagree with the story and the characters as much as you like, but you cannot say that this was an absolute bad game. Especially reviews that give this game a 0 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10 are totally out of the question and go too far. That, ladies and gentlemen, is my opinion on The Last of Us Part 2, and you don't have to share it, but we can discuss it in the comments if you want to. We also stream on Twitch every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central European Summer Time. If you want to see that, you can go and press that follow button over there and enjoy some talks with us and some positivity and chill vibes. And I think that was it for this video. I want to thank you all for watching this video, and I also want to thank my Patreons for making this content possible. And yeah, I think that was it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time in the next video, or in the next stream. Hoot hoot, motherforkers.